It's too easy to fall back into that same cycle when there's no Jesus involved. I wanted to not hurt my family. I hated hurting my family. I wanted to stop hurting the people that was caring about me most, but until you want to stop hurting Jesus, it's not enough. Growing up, I traveled to different churches every week. We lived in a trailer and I was homeschooled, so it caused me to have no friends. It wasn't hard to fit in. You just kind of went with the motion and started doing what other people were doing. And being raised in a Christian home, I thought that was what made me a Christian. I thought I was good because I lived in a Christian home. At the age of 12, I started smoking marijuana. At the time, it was what people were doing. It was what got me to fit in. And as time progressed, it just got worse and worse. My relationship with my family started dwindling down to where there wasn't really a relationship there. It was just constant lies and constant cover-ups of the bad decisions that I was making. Through high school, my decisions just got worse and worse. I started doing cocaine and doing any sort of drug that I could get that could give me that feeling again. It wasn't a matter of fitting in anymore. It was a matter of when can I get my next high. That thought process really hit me when I ended up in the hospital for the third time on an overdose. It's hard to imagine losing your family and losing your whole life over some drugs, but without Jesus, that's not enough to quit. On April of 2012, I committed a full-on commitment to serve Jesus. I got that relationship in my heart, but I was so sucked in to being so addicted to doing drugs that I could not quit. I was so convicted every single day, and I would go a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks without it, and then I would slip up. It's too easy to fall back into that same cycle when there's no Jesus involved. And my aunt and uncle Matt and Tara Hennon called me and gave me this opportunity to come to the Haven of Rest in Anderson and get a just full-on one-on-one time with Jesus. There was no distractions. There was nothing that could hinder me from not moving forward in my walk, getting that foundation that I really needed. There was one night I was laying in bed and I couldn't sleep. You know, some people were trying to sneak some drugs in, and it, you know, I started getting temptation thrown at my face firsthand. And there was a moment where I couldn't sleep. I was sweating, I was crying, and it was the one time in my whole life I've heard God talk to me. And he told me that he was not disappointed in me, that he was proud of me. He was happy for me. He was ready for me to go and be a child of God, to live without those chains. And that weight lifted off me, and I sat and cried all night. I just couldn't, I've never felt something so surreal in my entire life. And at that moment I knew that I was never gonna do another drug in my life. As I left the Haven, I started working, framing, construction, and it was just one door after another that God was opening. There were struggles, there's still struggles now, and there's gonna be struggles tomorrow, but I do know that my relationship with God is only going to increase. And that there's never a point that I'm ever going to reach that is satisfactory for God. That it's a daily waking up every day and saying, God, I'm serving you today. And in that time, at that moment when I wake up and I think that I know that there's nothing that Satan has that God can't overcome.